Hi, and welcome to today's info session for the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program. My name is Sean Roche, and I'm an Admissions and Recruitment Officer with Algonquin College here in Pembroke. And today I'm going to talk about our two-year Ontario College Diploma, Co-op Diploma in the area of Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety. So to start off with some quick facts about the program, the admission requirements to get accepted into the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program is a grade 12 English with a mark of 60% or higher, a grade 12 Math with a mark of 65% or higher, and then one of these next two courses, grade 12 Physics or a grade 11 or grade 12 Chemistry with a mark of 65% or higher. Now, you don't need both the chemistry and the physics to get acceptance into the program, you just need one of the two. Now, for anyone looking to study with the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program for fall 2020, it is important to note that the full fall term will be delivered in a remote fashion, so you are able to learn from the comfort of your own home from September until December. Now, it is important to note the main differences between a remote delivery and an online delivery. So in regular online delivery with online programs, you would have your communication with your professors through email, and there wouldn't be any video classes to connect with your fellow students and professors. All the work is done through correspondence through the Brightspace learning platform. But within the remote learning environment, it is set up a lot like you would have your on-campus classes. So for example, if you had a 9 o'clock a.m. class on Monday morning, you would be expected to be in class for that 9 a.m. class on Monday morning. With the remote delivery, you will still have that same 9 a.m. class on Monday morning, but instead of being on campus, you will be expected to be in the virtual classroom for that session. So you still have your face-to-face access with your professors and your instructors during that time, and then you can still access them after class for extra help as well. Now, after the remote delivery is complete, you still have the opportunity to integrate your classroom learning into real-world experience through the optional paid co-op work term. And I will explain a little bit more about that co-op work term coming up in a few minutes. Now, you also have the opportunity to complete at least 10 industry-recognized certifications by the time you graduate out of the program. And you can kind of pick which certifications you want to obtain to try to carve your way into a certain position within the nuclear industry. Now, students in the program also have the opportunity to participate in an interprofessional mock disaster training scenario. Now, the mock disaster training scenario does usually exist around some sort of nuclear explosion, and we actually invite members of some of the professional associations locally to help us out with this training scenario as well. So we invite members of the local OPP detachment, members of the Pembroke Fire Department, as well as representatives from the Canadian Nuclear Laboratories to help our students with this training scenario. Now, the students in the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program, they also partner with students from other programs, such as the Police Foundations Program, our environmental technician program, our nursing programs, as well as our social service worker programs. And they will work collaboratively with those students in throughout the entirety of the scenario, in case at one point the students in the Applied Nuclear Science Radiation Safety Program, they're the ones taking the lead on a certain task, but then otherwise they could be taking instructions from whether it's the Police Foundation students or the nursing students to help them out with some areas within the scenario. So it's a really good collaboration for all students involved. In the program as well, you still get to gain the theoretical and practical knowledge in areas such as nuclear operation, fundamentals, radiation detection, measurement, and many more. So it gives you a really good base of knowledge of skills to be successful in the nuclear industry. Now, Bruce Power, which is one of the larger nuclear employers that exist in Canada, has chosen our program to become a key feeder to identify their future workforce needs. So Bruce Power has looked at our curriculum and the learning outcomes that our students get from the program, as well as with experience that they've had with previous graduates coming out of our program as well. So they've identified our program to identify their future workforce needs to create a really good pipeline of graduates exiting our program and going into their company. So if anyone's on the fence about going into the nuclear industry, there are lots of great opportunities within the nuclear industry to get some employment, and I'll highlight a few of those within these next few points. So there is an increased demand that exists within North America to reduce the smog, acid rain, and greenhouse gas emissions, as well as with the different federal and provincial governments in Canada having endorsed the energy efficiency of nuclear power generation. It's creating lots of incentives within that industry by the government to create new jobs, and as well not only within the nuclear power generation, going into those, the smog and acid rain and greenhouse gas emissions, reducing those. There's lots of jobs within larger companies that are not exactly tied to the nuclear industry, but radiation technicians can use their skills and knowledge to be able to apply to those industries to be able to reduce on their emissions as well. Now, nuclear technology also has a number of industrial, commercial, and agricultural applications. So their jobs are not just specific to nuclear power generation and nuclear power plants. There's lots of companies out there that will work with different nuclear isotopes and nuclear reactors, things like that, to be able to introduce different things into their industries to innovate different aspects of their industries as well. Now, thousands of people are also employed in specialized jobs in the nuclear industry in technical, administrative, engineering, and research and development areas. Now, that stat is just for Ontario alone. So if you think about and extrapolate that across Canada and across North America, it just creates even more thousands of jobs that are available within the nuclear industry across all of those different areas. Now, going back to the mock disaster training scenario, I'll just go over what the main training goals are for a radiation technician student in the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program. So the first training goal in the mock disaster training scenario would be to set up radiological boundaries for control and containment. So you'll learn how to operate and manage the hot, warm, and clean zones. And then you'll also learn how to follow the different protocols of a radiological incident. So you'll learn about the life-saving overrides for containment of contamination. You'll learn if individuals are not injured, how they must be cleaned prior to exiting the warm zone. You'll identify which only individuals that need to be in a hot zone will be allowed and what times they're allowed in there. You will also learn how to ensure that anyone who is entering a different zone, whether it be the hot zone, the warm zone, or a clean zone, either puts on or takes off the proper personal protective equipment as appropriate. And you will also ensure that communication is clear between radiation protection technicians and other professions as they are in those different warm zones to make sure that the information being relayed, there's no information being missed or misinterpreted, to make sure that the best effort and best care is given to the incident. And the last goal of the training scenario would be around the control and containment of the radiological sources of contamination. So the students will learn to identify the location of the radiological sources, as well as using and utilizing the ALERA practices that they have learned within their courses to contain and control the source of that radiological event. So just to go over the courses that you'll be doing within the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program. So there are 4 semesters in the 2-year program. So in your first semester, you'll have a course for microcomputer applications for radiation safety to learn how a lot of those Microsoft Office Suite and other computer applications can be used in the radiation field. You'll also have a course for communications, as well as human performance and mathematics for radiation safety, as well as a course for radiation protection and sciences for understanding radiation theory. Now, moving over to your second term, you'll also explore the fundamental of physics and have a couple courses in instrumentation, as well as explore radiological regulations and requirements, contamination control, site systems and work planning, electrical science and systems, and then a preparation for your work term. And then going into your second year of the program, into this third semester, you have a course for technical communication, which is a higher level of communication from the first level of communications in level 1. You'll also explore the introduction to health physics, as well as equipment calibration and maintenance. You'll also explore radiological sampling methodology and radiological incident assessment, as well as the science for the nuclear industry. And you'll also have 2 general online educational elective courses as well. Now, in your last semester of your program, you'll also examine the reactor chemistry and how that works. You'll also explore the different disposal, storage, and decommissioning of radiological waste, nuclear systems and components, radiological assessment and scenarios, as well as your industry safety certificates that you'll obtain before you graduate the program. So the optional paid co-op within the Applied Nuclear Science Radiation Safety program, it does consist of 1 or 2 co-op work terms throughout the entirety of the program. So qualified students, as long as they meet the 2.7 grade point average required to be eligible for the co-op, they can complete their first co-op work terms after they have completed the first 2 terms of the program. So the earliest that anyone can take their first co-op would be in the summer months between year 1 and year 2, but then students can also opt to take a second co-op in the fall term or after they have completed the program the following summer. So the co-op work terms are 4 months in length, and the 4 co-op work terms are, like I said, are completed in the summer or the fall. So you do have the opportunity to complete at least 420 hours in your co-op work experience, and that is just specific to one of the co-ops. So if you end up doing 2 co-op work terms, that could potentially go up to 840 hours that you'll be completing in the field. So that is a lot of hours that you'll be able to complete within your co-op work term before you're actually going out into the field. Now, some employers may have their own specific hiring standards, such as different academic or aptitude testing. So you just have to make sure you keep an eye out for that when you're looking for the job descriptions, because within the co-op, you are applying to these jobs just as you would through a regular job search. We post the job ad on our co-op portal, and then you read over all the information, do up your cover letter, do up your resume, and you submit your cover letter and resume to the employer, and then they will follow up with an interview process. But then within those job descriptions, it could highlight those academic or aptitude testing that you just have to be aware of with some of those individual employers. Now, past co-op employers for students out of our program have included Bruce Power, Ontario Power Generation, and Canadian Nuclear Laboratories. So some of the 3 biggest employers in the nuclear industry in the province of Ontario. And many of these employers, as well as other employers, will use this co-op work term to groom their students for future employment at that company. So it's actually beneficial, not only for the students, but also for the company to be able to transition a co-op student into a full-time position after they've graduated the program, because during that co-op work term, they may have spent some resources on doing some health and safety training and other training that is specific to their company. So if they're able to transition that co-op student into a full-time position after that student has graduated, they don't have to reinvest resources to hiring someone new into that position and then using more resources to give them that health and safety training and other training that they would have already given to the co-op student. So it is beneficial twofold for both the student and the employer to be able to transition a co-op student after they've graduated into a full-time or part-time position. So some career and pathway options for the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program includes finding work as contamination monitors, radiation surveyors, radiation safety officers, radiation protection technicians, health physics technicians, or finding work as naturally occurring radioactive materials technicians or norm technicians. So talking about a little bit about the Waterfront Campus. So the Waterfront Campus is located in Pembroke. We're right on the shores of the Ottawa River. Our average class size between our 21 full-time programs does range from about 25 to 50 students. And more specific to the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program, we probably fall in between the 25 to 35 range on a year-to-year basis. So it is a really good group of students and provides a lot of good one-on-one instruction inside and outside of the classroom. And then we do have 5 privately owned student residences within walking distance up to campus as well. So for students that are maybe completing the fall term remotely from home and then looking to come to Pembroke for the January semester to finish off their program as well as for their second year, they can find accommodations at those 5 privately student-owned residences that are close to campus. But in addition to that, we do have a housing list available on our website, complete with apartment and room rental listings as well. Now, within our programs, we do have lots of great hands-on learning, community partnerships, and work integrating learning opportunities as well. So I've already covered around the co-op positions that we have within the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program, but we also have a really great partnership with the Canadian Nuclear Laboratories through our program as well. So students get to access the Human Training Performance Facility up at CNL, and they also get to work with some of the radiation protection technicians throughout the program as well and be able to pick their brain for some information around the nuclear industry. Some more quick facts about the Waterfront Campus. So we are a very small, warm, and friendly campus with a great student-to-professor ratio. And all of this ties into our commitment to student success because we want to make sure that every student that comes in as a student for their entry-level program graduates as a successful graduate through that program. So at any point during their journey, during their time at Algonquin, whether it's student services, whether it's the faculty, or any of the other staff that might be in the college, we are there to help support the students. So if anyone identifies an area that they may be struggling in, we can give them the best option and best resources to go get assistance from to be able to be successful within the program. Now, we're also very connected with our local labor markets in Renfrew and Lanark counties. So what that means, we do look at the different trends happening within the different industries specific to our counties and going out to other areas of the province as well, and looking to build new information into our curriculum, into the programs, to make sure that we're identifying those missing gaps within the labor force and the workforce, to identify those workforce needs as well. Now, we also hand out over $250,000 in bursaries annually to students at our campus, and we have about 1,000 students that annually attend our campus. So that provides a really great opportunity and chance for each student to be able to get a good chunk of money to apply to their tuition costs, to their food, book costs, anything like that, transportation, living. The bursaries, they can use it for anything that they like. It doesn't have to go towards tuition. And I mentioned about the 1,000 students that annually attend our campus, and about 50% of those students do come from outside of the Renfrew County area. So having that large contingent of the local students on hand makes it a lot more welcoming for those out-of-town students coming to campus every year, because a lot of them are coming from larger centers such as the GTA or Ottawa or out west as well, and then coming to a smaller rural type campus where there might not be as many amenities available. Our local students are very helpful and very welcoming in showing those out-of-town students all the fun things that are available to be done within the local area in Pembroke and Renfrew County. And we also have lots of great student support services available to support our students during their academic journeys. So we have a financial aid department to help students with OSAP, applying for OSAP, information on bursaries, scholarships, and awards. We also have our Center for Accessible Learning that'll assist students with permanent and non-permanent disabilities, as well as visible and non-visible disabilities, to be able to give them accommodations within their learning environments to help support them through their academic journey and connect them with more supports such as testing services and learning strategists as well. Now, we also have a student success specialist available on campus as well, which is like the GPS of our campus. So if you know how your GPS works, you have your point A and point B. For a lot of the students, their point B is graduating as an Algonquin grad. So at, again, any point during their academic journey, if they're looking for any information to help support their goal or get towards the endpoint of the goal, they can access our student success specialist to get the most direct access to whoever they need to see or whoever they need to talk to. We also have counseling services and health services available as well on campus. So if anyone's feeling stressed out of being away from home for the first time, if there's something going on in their personal life that's impacting their studies, if they're looking for mental health resources or initiatives, they can access our counseling services for all of those great initiatives as well. And then we also do career counseling through our counseling services as well. And then moving over to health services, we also have a fall flu shot clinic that is run out of that office as well. So if students in a healthcare program, or if you're used to getting your flu shot, you don't have to worry about going to the hospital or health unit locally to get that. You can actually make your appointment in the health services office. And then we also have a sexual health clinic that is on campus every week as well, with representative from the health unit as well. So there's lots of great resources available for students through health services as well. We also have co-op support, which is really a really great support for students in the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety program. So in the areas of resume development, cover letter development will be a really great resource in applying for those co-op positions to make sure that you are getting the position that you desire. Then we also have academic coaching available through our library, and the academic coaches are faculty members that are available by free appointment for students in the areas of communications, English, math, biology, physics, MLA, APA, formatting, essay writing skills, test taking skills, things like that. So it is a really great resource for students to be able to take advantage of. And it is important to note that all of these student support services will be available remotely for the fall term. So even though you could be taking your program from a remote location outside of Renfrew County. But if you do need help to access financial aid, our Center for Accessible Learning, Student Success Specialist, any of these services, we are all available remotely to help you, whether through email or connect via phone or video chat. So our student experience is obviously going to be a little bit different this year than it has been in past years, but hopefully once we get back into the winter semester, we'll be able to get more back into the regular swing of things. But we do like to ensure that students are having a healthy work-life balance, so they're not stressing themselves out over all the academics that they are focusing on, that they are able to make break that connection and focus more on themselves and their mental health at different points. So we do have our fall games day in the past that we've usually had at the end of the first week to help students unwind after their first week of school. So going forward, we're going to have some fun virtual events during our orientation week as well. We have lots of great spaces on campus for students to go study, such as the landing at the front of the college, as well as our library overlooking the Ottawa River. Then one of the newest features that we have in the campus is our rock climbing wall located in the gymnasium. It just got opened right before the shutdown in March, but once we do reopen the campus to students, this will be one of the most popular places on campus for a very long time. And then we, through our fall games day, and we also have a winter carnival in the winter semester as well. We like to have some fun games inside and outside for our students, and we end our winter carnival with a student staff hockey game. We have our women's game as well as our men's game. So it is always really great fun for all the students and all the staff during those days. So if anyone does have any questions about the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program, Carl Supalou is the program coordinator, and his contact information is located on the screen here. So you can always reach out to him for any program-specific questions. But if you do have any questions, general admission questions or questions about the Pembroke campus, you can always reach out to me. My contact information is located on the screen here as well. And I do thank you for watching this video, and I hope you were able to get a lot of great information about the Applied Nuclear Science and Radiation Safety Program, and I hope to see you sometime in the future. Thanks, and have a great day.